this, shot me, heartbeat racing, drive me, feel so excited, thought of highly, it's yours entirely, I'll be, midnight, grinding, heart rate, climbing, you go, I go, 'cause we share, kiss me, feed me, there's still no separating, morning massages, newborns in your closet, I'll be, I said I'll be, I'll be more, I'm gonna be more, I don't think you're ready constant treasure, no scale to measure, secret treasure, keeps on getting better. You wanna follow me, you can go for it, man. Hand in my hand, do you wanna follow me? We can be like Bonnie and Clyde, see if I can slide. More than a woman, more than I'll be more than I'll be Namaste, gods, goddesses, and emissaries of light. This is Dr. Tajen. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, please like and subscribe so you can be updated with my readings and my mini discourses. All right. As you see on the screen, here is beautiful Aaliyah. And the picture that I am showing is the picture of her. And some of you already know the movie, The Queen of the Damned. And she played the role of Akasha. First and foremost, let me start by saying this. I did a channeling last night that was out of this world. It was totally amazing in every sense of the word. Okay. Let me share something with you. The reason why I played her More Than a Woman song, don't sleep on this song, Divine Feminines. This song is very powerful that you can even meditate like I did last night off of the song and get so many downloads. All right. Aaliyah, also known as Dana Holton, is basically a goddess, Akasha. All right. So you've seen the Queen of the Damned, and so one would think that Akasha is a vampire. But this has a spiritual metaphor. In order to ascend, you have to descend. And so Dana Halton, aka Aaliyah, descended down to the earth and embodied Aaliyah. When Aaliyah died in a plane crash, it was not because of the Illuminati was after her and they used her for a blood sacrifice. Let me explain something to you about consciousness. This all happened back in 2002. Many of us were still asleep when it came to the divine feminine. We were not awakened. So there was not enough consciousness on this earthly plane to keep that type of energy here. Aaliyah is a goddess in every sense of the word, okay? We weren't tapped into our divinity. A lot of us was still in religion, so we could not receive this goddess power. And so it was time for her to go. And so she went. However, her energy has now returned back again. Now, for some of you that do not know about Aaliyah, Aaliyah was very studious. Her and Tupac both went to the same acting school. Okay. Not only that, when Aaliyah was not touring, she studied the occult and she studied it very heavy and very well. And I'm going to show you a picture of how she started to embody the energy of Lilith. And for some of you who do not know who Lilith is Adam's first wife. She didn't submit. You know, he wanted to be on top, and she was basically like, no, how about I be on top? You be on the bottom. And we can get the feel of this in the Rock the Boat song when she was like, change position and change positions. Matter of fact, I'm going to put up the lyrics. I'll post them here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But, you know, Lilith was really the first divine feminine as far as what we know it on this earthly plane. And she represents the feminine energy. And Aaliyah represents the feminine energy in every sense of the word because she is Akasha. And for some of you that may not know, Akasha is a goddess who helps to support and anchor the divine feminine energy that's here on the earth at this moment. Okay. But here are the words. I'm going to go ahead and repeat some of it to you. And the words is, I want you to rock the boat, rock the boat, rock the boat, rock the boat, work in the middle, work the middle, work the middle, work the middle, change positions for me. Change positions, new positions, new positions, new positions. Now stroke it, baby. Stroke it for me. Stroke it for me. Stroke it for me. First of all, this is very sensual and explicit, but basically, Aaliyah had no shame in expressing her sensuality. Okay. And we can witness this in the song Age Ain't Nothing But a Number that she did with R. Kelly. She said, age is nothing but a number. Going down is nothing but a thing. So basically, she was already well before her time in sensuality and sexuality. And this is not to, you know, besmirch her or to smear her character. I'm saying this for a very good reason. I'm making a point here. She truly embodied the goddess power, and it went into stages. And as you may know, we live on the earthly plane, and everything here is duality and polarity. Okay? But when it comes to the divine masculine and the divine feminine, they're not male or female, people. These are energies. Masculine is destructive, feminine is creative. And outside of the earthly plane, everything in the cosmos and everything in the universe is feminine because it's all creative. It's only on this physical plane that you have masculinity to the extent of what it is. Okay? So, let's talk about Mother Akasha and how Aaliyah, it was no coincidence that she played that role in the Queen of the Damned, because Akasha is the fifth element, okay? And so Mother Akasha comes to us, like I've spoken to you about already, when it comes to divine love. And rather than offering us human love and all of its frailties that too often includes hurt, wounds, and broken heart, Akasha reveals to us the love that is greater. And that is a love that is so heavenly divine. A love that is capable of nurturing and fulfilling all that our beautiful minds dare to even conceive. Okay? And with a love that has inherent within the power of healing and restoration. This is exactly what the divine feminine does for her divine masculine. And Mother Akasha reveals in her messages and presence of divine love that is fully charged with the Heavenly Mother's presence, a love that carries the qualities of the divine will and grace. Her teachings are profound as she shows us how to heal our hearts and how to create a mighty spiritual center in our hearts that begins to glow an inner light that feeds our minds, bodies, and souls to a new way of life. Unlike any teacher on the earth, Akasha reveals to us the nature of our souls, the door to everything that becomes a source of genuine love, genius acting in our lives, and exploration to so much more. She explains that until a person fully awakens and actualizes their divinity, the door to our soul is closed. And that is the present condition of the human race as we know it today. Akasha reveals the mystery of those mighty words, I am that I am, and how to once again connect with our true spiritual selves, releasing the power of protection into our daily lives. She talks about the significance of the flower of the life blueprint, which is known as the flower of life, the sacred fire, the power of divine attraction, the Akashic force, as she introduces us to the cosmic beings of our spiritual hierarchy who long have waited to assist us. We call them deities. Mother Akasha carries an air of beauty, elegance, and grace as she reveals the hidden power and will within our feeling side of life. Akasha offers the reunion of our thoughts and feelings so that our hearts and our minds are working together as one to fulfill that we desire and what we require. Come and meet Mother Akasha. She has the power to change your life for the better. Akasha comes to us as the rose pink flames of divine love, will, and grace. If you look at Aaliyah, when Aaliyah first came onto the scene, We heard that song, 4-Page Letter. She was so innocent and yet so pure. And if you look at Aaliyah over the time that she was here on the earth, she still, no matter how sensual she was, kept that level of innocence. This is a reflection of the beloved goddess of innocence, which is Akasha. We have been taught that our innocence can never be lost. However, it can be covered over. We may call to the beloved goddess of innocence to assist us, to once again reach within and to claim our divine innocence within our heart flame. The goddess of innocence and our guardian angel watches over our inner child, and therefore our inner child remains untouched by the discord of the outer world. May we call upon the goddess of innocence to assist us to restore a strong feeling of innocence in our feeling body and to increase in us a great love of innocence. Now let's talk about the fifth element. We know that the fifth element is spirit. And Akasha is a kind of super element, the binding force between the other elements, a demigoddess, or for the sake, if you want to look at it from a scientific point of view, a kind of black hole that emanates and absorbs energy matter. Akasha is the fifth element, the binding part that runs through all matter, and it is also the collective unconscious of life forms. The word itself is Persian, East Indian, and means inner space. There is a thing called the Akashic records. Essentially, this is an ethereal field for some of you that may not know. And this ethereal field of collective knowledge that may be accessed by those who train or have the natural ability to do so. Aaliyah represents this type of innocence, this Akasha. Okay. How she was so pure and so innocent, but yet so sensual and fully tapped into her goddess power. And how R. Kelly was there to help to bring that out of her. Now, you guys, let me just keep it 100 with you. I'm not going into the conspiracy theories about their marriage and her being underage, but I will say he played a very integral part to her spirituality growth because he understood her power and what she had beyond the 3D. So when we look at the elements emerge from Akasha, the immutable, changeless source of all energy, this is the realm of potentiality, of promise, of paths not yet taken, of unformed galaxies of outer space. Look at how short Aaliyah's lifespan was. Are you now picking up what I'm laying down? Akasha is also present within our bodies. Some say that the spark of life, that unknowable force that is called the soul, is a bit of Akashic energy housed in the physical body. Akasha is sometimes thought to be symbolically present on the earth. More often, it's seen as the mother creatrix of the elements. It's little used in a natural magic, but something of its nature should be understood, understood, and overstood. Primarily, Akasha is unbeingness. Its energy, which extends everywhere throughout the universe, has not yet achieved form and substance. It's the primal source of energy that creates and fuels the elements. Because of this, it contains complete balanced energy. earth and air, fire and water. The following table of Akashic association points out its universal nature, and it is meant to be used for magical purposes. Okay, let's talk about the translation for the Akasha. It means upper sky or space in Hinduism, which everyone that knows me knows I'm heavily associated with Hinduism. Okay. According to the Sakmaya, the school, Akasha is one of the 5 Mahabhutas, which is the grand physical elements, having the specific property of sound. Okay. The word ether is what we can say as well. Spirit, ether, it means upper air. The Greek philosophers saw it as upper air, or the air that the gods breathed in, the celestial sphere. It had initially been considered to be part of the element of air, but later it became clear that the energy was an element on its own. It didn't need air in order for it to survive. Matter of fact, all elements need ether. All elements need the fifth element in order to survive, even you. None of us will be able to survive without it. Going back to Aaliyah and how Aaliyah is Akasha. It was no coincidence that she played this role. And even if you look, even though the Queen of the Damned is not like a household movie that people talk about constantly, Aaliyah played that role. And she played that role very well, that even the producer said that it was like something came over her and took over her because she spoke Egyptian so well that even the people that produced the film found it very hard to comprehend what Aaliyah was saying. This beautiful energy, Akasha, we all have the records within ourselves. We embody it, we house it within our spirit. And we can tap into these realms at any time if we're open to that. Aaliyah already was tapped in, tuned in, and turned on. The fact that Aaliyah is not physically here on this earthly plane with us is because back in 2002, as I stated before, and I have mentioned, our consciousness was not there to house her, to hold space for this goddess. Same thing with Tupac. He, she, divine masculine, divine feminine were ahead of their time. And they were born into this time to help us. They were like spearheading the movement for the divine feminine and the divine masculine way before it was even time. And now that we can look back in our awakened state at Aaliyah, not only transitioning from the Lilith power, from the descended to the ascended, which is Akasha. Okay, because if you look at Akasha, if you look it up, because I've done extensive research on this for the last day, you will see that Akasha is a goddess of light. But then you will also see that she was also known as a vampire to steal the power away from people. But if you look at this relatively speaking, we all have a higher and a lower self. Depending on where we are in our evolution of our soul or the evolution of our development is where we're going to act from. Before you became awakened, for some of you that are awakened and listening to this broadcast, you operated out of your lower chakras. which were the first three chakras. And then as you became actualized and realized and you came fully embodied into your higher self, then you started living from your heart center and your higher chakras, being the fourth, fifth, sixth, and the seventh. And for some of you that are advanced, the eighth, all the way up into the 10th chakra, you see. And then there are some of you that have completely shut down your chakra system altogether. And then you're operating from more of a light body and a crystalline body. So you can be fully enlightened and ascended just like Christ and Buddha. So at this very moment, I thought it was very necessary for us to dig deep into who Aaliyah really is. And I'm not going to say was, because remember, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Her energy is still here and it's becoming even more prevalent, just like the Lilith energy is becoming very prevalent. And Aaliyah truly is a representation of a true goddess embodied in the physical form because of her close correlation to Akasha, because she is Akasha. And just like Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, people came here to wake us up. All right. So that is my piece that I'm going to give to you tonight on Aaliyah and Akasha and how they are one and the same, and how we go through these various levels of transformation. There are many people that are incarnated as earth angels. They're really angels, but they're in a human body. And it's for the purpose of the ascension of humanity, for mankind. When you get benevolent beings from the higher realms coming in incarnation down to the earth to raise the vibration for the evolution of all of our souls, that is the greatest expression of love that there is. And to really appreciate it and to really be at a place where you're spiritually conscious of why the twin flame journey is so important, you have no idea. We're only scratching the surface, okay? You have no idea how great of a privilege it is. It doesn't make a difference what type of mate you're dealing with. The most important thing is to make sure that you become self-actualized and realized. Whether you're in union or outside of union or in between union, it doesn't matter. What matters is your self-discovery, your spirituality, your ascension, and your growth. Because what you do for yourself is going to have a trickle effect. It is going to have a domino effect. It's going to affect those that are around you and even your twin that is connected to you. When I looked at the words of Rock the Boat, it really truly helped me to appreciate the value of the woman's body and what the woman's body is capable of conceiving and producing. Life, pleasure, home. And when I say home, it's because she houses the baby for 9 months, but she also houses her partner and gives him space to come to full pleasure and sensuality and sexuality and to exercise his muscle of his manhood. What we offer as divine feminines supersedes modern society's definition of a woman. And that is the reason why I titled this More Than a Woman. I hope that you appreciate it. For those of you that are listening to this, whether it's male or female, I hope you gained something from this. And I hope that you got some knowledge, because I just dropped a whole lot on you. I researched all this information that I gave you in a short period of time. It took me a day, not a day like 24 hours, but I'm just saying I did it within a day. Researching, I went to 4 different websites and I accumulated all of this information so I can share it with you, so you can glean from it what it is that you will take away that can help you in your ascension process. And to know that the patriarchal society is no longer, it's gone. This is a matriarchal society. This is a matriarchal world. This is a feminine world. This is not a man's world, even though we have a song about it. Okay? The feminine energy is it's really important, and I'm starting to see more and more men come into the reality of knowing their feminine side and the role that it plays. And again, it's not gender specific. It's energy. And for the men that have learned to tap into their feminine energy, they are a force to be reckoned with. They are so thoroughbred. They are like our first men that, you know, were back into the late 1800s and the early 1900s, where they valued a woman so much. They weren't sowing their wild oats and having sex with any woman that walked the streets that was willing to give them time or day, because they valued their woman so much that even if it was a difficult situation, that man was man enough to find a way to make it work, no excuses. Because that was the alpha male that was within him, that no matter how complicated it was for him and his divine feminine, he was committed to resolving it, to find a resolution. And he wouldn't even feel like a man unless he did. He felt like less of a man if he couldn't find that resolution. I just think we live in a world where there's too many options, people. And I am proud of the generation that is here, the third wave generation, because they are not putting up with the things that the second generation, the second wave of generations, which is me and you that are now listening to this, we're the second wave. We put up with a lot. And that's the reason why things have gotten out of control, because it's collective. It would not have been permitted or allowed had we not allowed it. And so our children who were born from the higher realms are intuitive and connected, and they're not going to put up with someone having third parties and not choosing them first, because these kids know that they come first and they don't have a problem with self-love. I think that a lot of us in our generation, we've had issues with self-love, and what we equated love with was really toxicity. And now we have some old programmings that we have to get rid of that no longer serve us anymore. And that's the reason why a lot of our love relationships showed us the faces that it did. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with this. It is a good karma to like, subscribe, comment, share, post, repost, donate, live a gift registry if you feel inclined to. I now wrap you in my love, and I cloak you with the light of Christ consciousness. Do not forget to hit that bell so you can get my notifications as well. I also want to mention that. And I just want to say I'm so excited that I have now officially reached over 100 subscribers within 2 weeks. This is just phenomenal. I am more than excited and pumped up all about it, because This is a dream come true. This is even more than what I anticipated. And I want to thank you for your contribution to that. All right. Namaste, everyone.